Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, I very often think about the end of an empire. If you look throughout history, there's all kinds of different empires that have been the world's superpower for certain periods of time throughout history, and there's one common denominator with all of them. At one point, they've all fallen, crumbled. Some people like to say, well, history was different back then, and now it's different. They say the same thing with recessions, by the way, but I'm not sure if I buy into that argument. I'm not sure if I buy into that idea. Who's to say that this empire is gonna last forever? Whether it's the Western civilization empire, the American empire, sometimes I feel like we're reaching the end of the empire. And the one thing that always pops up in my brain over and over again is the loss of our morals. We as a society, as a modern, liberal, secular society, what are we? Who are we? What are we? When we lose our values, when we no longer value tradition, family, and most importantly, when we no longer value human life, when we view it as expendable. Well, that's an ethical conundrum that continues to pop up in my head, and today more so than ever. And I'll show you guys exactly what I mean, as Canada continues to lead the race towards absolute left-wing secular craziness. Let me show you guys what I mean by that. Let's roll the tape. All right, folks. There's no other way to say it. The Gateway pundits got it right. Sick. Canada offers veteran and former Paralympian assisted self-ending when she asks for a stair lift. A Canadian veteran and former Paralympian said last week before a parliamentary committee that she was offered help with assisted self-ending when she asked for a wheelchair lift to be installed in her home. Retired Corporal Christine Gauthier, 52, who competed in the 2016 Paralympics in Rio de Janeiro, revealed to the committee on Thursday that a caseworker from the Veterans Affairs Canada, VAC, had offered to provide her with a medically assisted self-ending kit, according to Fox News. The event happened during a phone call with the VAC, where Gauthier described her deteriorating health. Quote, "I have a letter saying that if you're so desperate, madam, we can offer you MAID, M-A-I-D, medical assistance in dying," Gauthier said in a hearing before the House of Commons Veterans Affairs Committee. Take a look at this clip.
For Christine Gauthier, the fight to get a wheelchair lift in her home has been an uphill battle.
I have to crawl down the stairs on my butt with the wheelchair in front of me to be able to access my house.
While pleading her case to a Veterans Affairs case manager over the phone in 2019, she was told something that would leave her feeling shocked.
If things are so hard at this point and you just can't keep going on, and you know we can assist you with aid to die.
And she's not the only one.
And so it's almost as if cartoons, comedy, parody is becoming real life. Remember the whole suicide booth shtick from Futurama?
Listen, buddy, I'm in a hurry here. Let's try for a twofer.
Please select mode of death, quick and painless, or slow and horrible.
Yeah, I'd like to place a collect call.
You have selected slow and horrible.
Good choice. Bring it on, baby!
Well, this is essentially where Canada is going. Is life too hard? Are you facing financial hardship, depression? Are you in need of assistance after an injury? Well, we got the trick for you. A medical self-ending kit. What in the world is going on? I mean, people are always going on and on about how amazing Canada's system is. I'm a free healthcare. I'm a free everything, despite the fact that you're literally paying for it in taxes, especially if you're a high earner. But I guess from what we can see here, it seems like the system is falling apart to the extent that they're willing to start implementing taking someone's life as a medical alternative to treating and caring for said individuals. You know, there was a whole lot of foreshadowing to this. Here's an article from January 23rd, 2017 from the CBC, which is Canada's state broadcasting network. Medically assisted deaths could save millions in healthcare spending report. Across Canada, Journal calculates up to $136.8 million in savings. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, wow, $136.8 million in savings. I mean, that's amazing. Is it really? No. In terms of government spending, $136.8 million is peanuts. I mean, let's really put it into perspective. November 14th, 2022, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announces additional military assistance for Ukraine and additional sanctions against Russia. Today at the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia, the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that Canada will provide $500 million in additional military assistance for Ukraine to assist armed forces of Ukraine in defending their country against Russia's brutal and unjustifiable invasion. Totally willing to spend $500 million, and that's on top of hundreds of millions of dollars that's already been spent, without even a second thought sending it to Ukraine, but $136 million to help treat and care for people, your own citizens, I can't be bothered. This is the type of stuff that makes me think that we are lost in the Western world. Where have our priorities gone? And it takes me right to my views on abortion, which have really developed over the last couple of years. I've always been a little bit libertarian when it comes to social issues. I don't really care, let people live, it's their decision to make. Of course, within reason. I would never be able to take the stance that Democrats are taking up to 9 months now. But the more I start to realize that a lot of these ideas coming from the left on some of these cultural and social issues are predicated on totally immoral logic, this disregard for human life or this disregard for basic responsibility and well-being of a society, family, and children, the more my stance starts to develop, and frankly, the more it starts to frighten me. Where are we going as a society when we don't value tradition, when we don't value family, when we don't value the conception of children, where we think that liberation and freedom is just irresponsibility and using medical procedures to end life? Of course, in this case, in the womb. Where are we going as a society in the Western world when we see people who are suffering, when we see people who need help, and our response is, well, maybe we should set up Futurama-style self-ending booths? Being a little bit facetious, a little bit hyperbolic, but you get the point. That's essentially what this is. And this, to me, is what I'm most fearful of, because the more we go down this direction, the worse society is getting. Things aren't getting better culturally. Of course, we're living through unprecedented time when it comes to wealth creation, the economy, mainly due to all of the new technology. But culturally, it feels like society is falling apart. And then we have our enemies and our adversaries running shadow operations to make it even worse. Let's look at TikTok, for instance. The Russians and the Chinese Communist Party are loving the degradation of our values in our society. They're using TikTok to promote it and to shove it in our children's faces because they can clearly see the effects as negative for our society moving forward. With all of these leftist, supposedly compassionate moral standards and beliefs, society has become more divided, more extreme. Children are more vulnerable. I'd argue they're more unsafe. Mental illness is absolutely on the rise. We're seeing an unprecedented rise in young male anger as well, which is leading to some of these mass casualty events. People are feeling ostracized. They're feeling like something is just fundamentally wrong. Substance abuse is skyrocketing. People are depressed. Overall, when you look at the health of society, when you look at the health of the individual, metrics to calculate general mental health, how people are feeling about themselves and of course about society, everything is going downhill. And it's going downhill fast. And you can't convince me that these woke, liberal, secular ideas don't have something to do with it. I'll be completely honest with you. I meet a bunch of different people. I have a bunch of different friends, my girlfriend's friends. We live a very traditional, happy life. All of our friends, but all the people that we know that are busy being woke, all the women that don't need no mans, strong, independent, boss babe, that kind of thing. These are all of the most miserable people that I know. For instance, even some of my mom's friends, the ones that never started families, the ones that bought into the whole career first narrative and idea, are some of the most depressed and most lonely. And we have these metrics when it comes to the political spectrum. People who are buying into the woke secular nonsense are much more unhappy than conservative traditional people who started families. And it's all tied in. Our collective ethical code has become essentially lack of ethics. That there are no lines. We don't draw lines in the sand anymore. That's racist. That's sexist. That's misogynist. And it's leading to anxiety, depression, and general societal chaos. Leftists don't seem to value anything before. And I know that because if leftists can't even value the sanctity of life, then what can they possibly value? That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.